Go back to our panelists here, and I will ask our panelists to introduce themselves and then maybe say a few things about your school. What are some of the unique features, something interesting about your school? Who would like to go first? Sharon, do you want to get us started?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Hi, everybody. I'm Sharon Starling. I'm the Director of Admission at Cornish College of the Arts. We are your local school tonight, just across the bridge in Seattle, Washington. We're over 100 years old, and we offer degrees specifically in the visual and the performing arts. So it is the kind of college where it's all art all the time. They're all undergraduate 4-year degrees, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
My name is Angie Skates, and I am with NYFA, College of Film, Media, and Performing Arts. We have 3 domestic locations, New York being our headquarters, obviously, it's in the name. And we've been around since 1998. Our campus in Los Angeles, which is where I'm based, has been around since 1996. And we also have a campus in South Beach, Miami. We offer undergraduate degrees that are accelerated 3-year Bachelor of Fine Arts programs. We also offer Bachelor of Arts programs and then graduate degree programs, 1 and 2-year conservatories, as well as summer youth programs for high school students in disciplines such as filmmaking, acting for film, musical theater, photography, screenwriting, 3D animation, and visual effects, game design. And I am happy to be here to talk a little bit more about our admissions process and answer any other questions that you may have. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dean. It's my name. It's not my job. It's a terrible name to have at a university, but what are you going to do? I'm with Simon Fraser University, and we're in Vancouver, British Columbia. And we have 3 campuses, and they are all in the traditional and unceded territories of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam peoples. That's something that's very important to us to want to really always forward about our agenda of reconciliation in Canada. It's a very big deal. We are right in the middle of downtown Vancouver, and we have BFA programs in dance, film, music and sound, theater performance, theater production and design, and visual arts. And we also have BA programs in cinema studies and art and performance studies. And what's the thing? Oh, yes. We're just up in Vancouver, and one of our dance alum is from Seattle, and she said that we're far enough away that you can spread your wings and close enough that she can drive home for the weekend. So that's where we are. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, let's get started by hearing a little bit about what the student experience is on your campus. Just a brief description, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the admissions process. Dean, you want to get us started?
Certain. Our school is cohort-based. We do direct admission into first year. So each one of our programs is about 24 students, and you're with the same 24 students for 4, really often 5 years. So you know those people, you can trust those people, you know who you can count on to not drop the camera or work hard, that kind of thing, because none of our students are going to be sitting around, well, except in the editing suites maybe. But so yeah, that's the student experience is a cohort program that has really heavy studio classes and theory classes, and then on top of that, they're going to be rehearsing, performing, filming, editing. They're just really busy people, and I don't know how they do it.
Thank you. Angela, do you want to share a little bit about your school?
Yes, I would love to. So New York Film Academy, we're a small private school, and about 50% of our population, student population, is international. So we're incredibly diverse, as is our faculty and administration. We are a very tight-knit community of artists, and that does include administration, faculty, of course, student body as well. We have small class sizes, 8 to 15 students, which does guarantee that you do get that individual attention from your instructors. Like Dean said, his school is cohort-based. We are also as well. So you start with your classmates, and oftentimes you will graduate with them. Our curriculum is prescribed, and it is hands-on project-based learning. So about 70% of your coursework each semester is going to be performance-based. And then only about 30% are going to be your general education classes. So you are fully immersed into the craft from day one. We do have lots of extracurricular activities for you to get to know people outside of your cohort. There's Glee Club, there's different sports clubs. There's all kinds of things that you can get involved in. But everyone on campus is in the arts community, in the entertainment industry in some way, shape, or form. So it's a very tight-knit community of artists, very diverse group of people, and very small. So it's intimate.
Thank you. And Sharon, tell us about Cornish.
Yeah, I think Cornish shares a lot of similarities. It's small. It is very concentrated. It's a direct entry into the major. It is an urban campus, so you're really within walking distance of almost every major artistic organization in the city. And I think Seattle is a more compact city than maybe places like New York and LA. It is all Bachelor of Fine Arts degrees, and I think we each have mentioned that, but maybe nobody has told you what those letters mean. So I might just offer that those, when you see those letters, Bachelor of Fine Arts, and I can put that in the chat, that's indicating a very concentrated degree pathway. It usually is a direct entry into the major. Our students spend 6 to 8 hours every day in the studio doing their art. They're doing 1 to 2 academic classes at a time. And I expect my colleagues have similar academic programs like that, that it's not doing all the general eds first and then picking a major. You're choosing these kinds of programs because you want to do that direct entry into the artistic pathway that you're most interested in.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear a little bit about the admissions process. And Angie, maybe we'll start with you this time. A little bit about the admissions process, and then for the other schools, if that's similar to you, you can just add the things that may be different. And I know that students are probably also wondering about portfolio, so you could speak to that as well.
Okay, so our admissions process is pretty straightforward. We're not on the Common App, but you can apply on our website. There is a $75 application fee. You can start your application and submit what you have ready and then go back to it once you are ready to complete it. But it's about maybe 5 or 6 pages online, and it includes personal questions like where did you go to high school, why do you want to attend New York Film Academy, and those sorts of things. But there is a space for you to upload your supplemental materials, which do include a narrative statement, 2 to 3 pages typed. Who are you? Why do you want to attend New York Film Academy? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Who inspires you? What are some challenges that you've overcome? Those are some of the things that we'd like to know about you. We also are asking for your transcripts. We do need an official copy, but you can upload an unofficial copy and then submit your official copy later. We ask for 2 letters of recommendation. We ask that they come from teachers, counselors, employers, people that can speak to your work ethic, your character, your integrity. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's in the performing or arts field. And then we also ask for your creative portfolio or your audition. Again, we prefer that those are virtual materials that you submit and upload via our application portal. You can talk this through with your admissions representative to kind of help guide you. The whole admissions process is sort of like a prolonged interview, so we get to know you better. I mean, you also get to know us better, ask questions. But for the audition, it's very important for our performing arts programs for our Acting for Film program, we ask that you submit 2 contrasting monologues from a published play. And for our musical theater of about a minute apiece. And then for our musical theater program, we ask that you submit 2 songs of about 32 bars, a monologue, and then also a dance audition. And you can upload those all on the web if you have questions. There are guidelines on our website. And again, our admissions team is available for you to kind of just talk that through. But our creative portfolio and our audition are pretty heavily weighted for our admissions process. We do look at your transcripts, however, we do not have a minimum GPA requirement. We are an art school and we understand that artists don't always thrive in traditional academic settings. So we look at each individual applicant holistically. However, if you are excelling academically, you could potentially earn merit-based scholarship. We do also look at your honors and AP classes and those kinds of things as well.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Sharon, do you want to speak about Cornish's application system?
Yeah, we there's a lot of similarities. We do have application on our website. We are also on the Common App, so you can submit it that way as well. And there's letter of rec, there's a transcript, personal statement, no test scores required. And then we do weight the audition or the portfolio quite heavily. I mean, that's probably 80% of our decision. And all the all the instructions are online. We actually have moved to mostly digital versions of everything, especially post-pandemic. It just created a lot more access for people to be able to get their work to us. We do portfolio coaching. We do audition coaching. All of our admission counselors are organized and assigned by artistic discipline. So if you're applying to the music department, you're going to have an admission counselor that can really advocate for you and help you through the entire process from selecting pieces. If you have questions about making recordings, we're not really expecting students to spend a lot of money on a really refined recording or spending money at a studio. You can use your smartphone and that will be fine. And you can take the images of your artwork with your smartphone and load them up as JPEGs to the application. And I can totally take more questions, but I'll let Dean go.
Thanks. So we're not on the Common App. I mean, we have our own kind of thing. It's called Pass BC, but you'd have to apply to Simon Fraser University. Our school is a little art school in a little island downtown in a mid-sized comprehensive university. So you have to do 2 things. You have to apply to admissions, and they're up on Burnaby Mountain, and you have to audition or interview your portfolio for us. So they're 2 different things. You do have to have enough of an academic rigor to survive in a university. So we would typically, now, sorry, the numbers I'm going to use are Canadian numbers, and we have a different pass base, so don't be too afraid of this. But about 80% is what you would need for admission. If you have a really strong portfolio, we can take that down a little bit. The tricky thing for us, though, is, I hate to say this, Math 11. We need Math 11 with preferably 70%. And that number itself, we could talk, because the past numbers are a little different. Anyhow, so you do need to apply for admission to the university. You have to send transcripts. Usually the first pass are from your counselors, uploaded through admissions. And as well, parallel, you don't have to wait to audition. You have to audition for dance. You have to audition for theater performance, questionnaires and interviews for film, and questionnaires for theater production and design, sort of a questionnaire portfolio for music and sound, and visual art, also a portfolio. Art performance and cinema studies, we ask for a very simple questionnaire just to make sure that you're in the right program, because sometimes they see art. Oh, that's visual art. No, over here. So it's a pretty simple process, but it is university, and we're kind of, we're a little bit bigger. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Very helpful information. And for everybody who's a guest here, we will be posting a recording of this. So if you're frantically trying to remember which detail goes with which university, we will make sure that you have access to this if you want to watch it again later. It will probably take a few days to a week to get posted, but it will be on our website eventually. Okay, I heard a little bit about courses, and speaking of math, everybody loves to talk about math when we're talking about college admission. So, Dean, yes, you brought up Math 11. And so for those of us in an Algebra 1 geometry, Algebra 2 system, which in our curriculum would be kind of the completion of high school level math. And then as we go into pre-calculus and business pre-calculus, there's college credit available. So everything above that would be college credit. Would you say that Math 11 is about the same as Algebra 2?
That sounds about right, but please, I'll put my email in the chat to ask specifics.
Okay.
Basically, there's three kinds of math. One causes an aneurysm, one causes extreme headaches, and one helps you find the paint at the Home Depot. Pain must be involved in our math.
Okay. Okay. That's a very helpful differentiation. Um, so Angie and Sharon, do you have a certain level of math required for your schools?
We do not.
Okay.
Neither do we. You just have to complete high school, pass all of your classes, and submit a copy of your transcripts. But we don't have any requirements other than your diploma, your completed diploma.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Do any of you have, how do you view AP classes? We often get questions from students and parents about should we be focusing on taking advanced placement classes? Obviously, the students interested in your schools are going to be strong in art and are going to make use of the higher level art classes in their area. But should they be focusing on core classes at the advanced placement level as well? I'll let whoever feels led can go ahead and start.
Okay, so if you need the extra push, you go and take your AP. If you think it's going to impress someone, at least in our school, and I'll defer to everyone else about their other schools. It doesn't impress us as much. Yes, you'll get some credit, but it's not the biggest thing in the world. But if you need that extra challenge, you go for it. But otherwise, don't feel you have to do it. IB might impress us a little bit more, but even then, just go for not easy courses. Go for courses that challenge you. But it doesn't have to be AP. Although I know you guys love AP and it's wonderful.
Same for New York Film Academy. We don't require it. Obviously, if you do take them and you pass the test with, I think, a 3 or 4, we'll accept those credits as college credits, and you could potentially earn merit-based scholarship. But it's not something that it will considerably help in the admissions process. Again, the thing that's most important for us is either your creative portfolio or your audition. So those can help with scholarship, but it's not necessary for us.
And I'll just add on a little bit there. I think I really align with Dean on this question. If you need the challenge, that's great. I don't always think the curriculum behind or the way the AP courses are taught matches well with the creative brain. And I think a lot of times we're working with students that are really project oriented. They like writing, they like projects, and that's not what the AP classes are about. And that sometimes makes it challenging because they're teaching it in a different way than you want to think and do your work. I know there's a lot of pressure for the college bound student to take those advanced placement classes, but we would rather have you challenge yourself in your own way and do your really best work. And it doesn't have to be via an AP course. I would also align with Dean on the IB curriculum. I think matches how art school does their work. And so that is something to consider. And then lastly, what I would say about the advanced placement art studio, that is a good thing to take because it is probably the way you get to be with the most accelerated teacher and students at your school. But the process of it, by the time you finish it, it's May. So you've missed all the deadlines for art school admission. It's not going to change what you take at art school because if you do AP art, we're all viewing it as preparation for art school, not as a way to accelerate yourself through it. But I do also recognize that it's one of the ways you get with the best cohort of classmates by taking that advanced placement art class. So I would absolutely recommend it, but I wouldn't do it to build your portfolio and I wouldn't do it for college credit. I would do it to have the experience.
Okay, thank you very much. That was really helpful. And leads me to wonder, so if what your applicants, what you're looking for in your applicants is how do they really present themselves? Not how do they check boxes or look good on a transcript, but how do they really present themselves? And so how do you see that in extracurriculars or other things that they may be involved in other places of their lives? And any of you can start.
Yeah, I mean, I could tag on to that. I think those are important. We don't need you to have 100 activities. We need you to have things that you're really invested in. We love to see the leadership skills. We love to see that you've been committed to something. We don't need you to impress us with being in every club at your high school. We need you to be your authentic self. And sometimes I think, especially for artists, those activities are outside of the high school. You might be in the play, you might be in art club, but oftentimes that's being in the youth symphony. It's taking dance classes at a studio that's not part of your high school. It's taking extra classes, say like in the Seattle area, maybe you're coming over to Cornish for a portfolio workshop or a summer intensive, or you're doing classes at Gage Academy. It's those kinds of things more so than were you in all the social clubs at your high school. So being authentic is probably the most important part. Part-time jobs are great. Community service is great, but you don't have to impress us with the volume.
Sometimes they almost look constructed. I was reading an application for a scholarship that it was like, oh, you ticked all the right boxes in such a superficial way. Well, you really should do what you love, and you should try. I know you're like, I mean, I've been to your schools. They're beautiful. I wouldn't want to leave those schools. They're really nice, but please leave the schools. And again, I can't say where to go. Sharon can tell you where to go, but go to a crazy black box show. Even if you're a dance student or if you're a visual arts student, please go. We're interdisciplinary. That really impresses us. We have a really mean film prof who's now retired. The first question he would ask prospective film students is, what was the last art gallery you went to? So, just I know you are there trying to do a broad sample so that you've been in an art gallery and you've seen a weird installation of ducks and geese quacking and someone rowing a chair. That's important to do too. So please leave your school every now and then. Don't just go to the Cineplex. Go to whatever your crazy film place is. Just really immerse yourself outside of your school as well. I will stop preaching.
I put a quick link in the chat for Teen Tix. And some of you may not be aware of this because you haven't been able to go anywhere for such a long time. We can go places now. And Teen Tix is this amazing organization out of Seattle Center, and it is free to sign up, and you can get $5 tickets to most of the major artistic organizations and the funky, weird stuff that Dean is talking about too. So now you have a really easy way to go and see all of that.
That's awesome. Okay, we have a few minutes left, about 4 minutes. So maybe one last question and we'll see if any questions come up in the chat. You guys are doing such a wonderful job answering questions that I'm not seeing a lot of questions come up in the chat. So I think you're hitting it right on what people are looking for in terms of some information and guidance. Do early applications make a difference at your schools? Is there, because sometimes students feel like that it's a first come, first serve type of situation, and the faster they get them done, the better. And I'm just curious how that is received at each of your schools.
We're weird. We're going to be about 2 months behind everyone else's process. So it does. The only reason why it's better to apply early is you find out earlier, and also visas and things like that if you're not a dual citizen. But I'll shut up because you guys know what you're talking about. I don't even know what that word means.
I can add on top. Oh, go ahead, Angie. You go.
I was just going to add to what Dean said and say that there's no real advantage to apply early at New York Film Academy other than to know earlier and to work out your financial aid and scholarship packages and your housing situation. But other than that, there is no real advantage for early admissions for New York Film Academy.
And what I would say for Cornish is we use December 1 as our early action deadline. And if you apply by December 1, you will have a decision by mid-December with a scholarship package. So if you really want to go into that holiday break, having at least one offer of admission in your back pocket, we will make that happen for you. And then we're coming up on our second priority deadline, which is February 15th. And we do move to rolling admission after that. I certainly think artists don't always meet they're not always deadline oriented or focused or motivated, and that's okay. It's more important for us to see your work when you're ready to submit it. But I would say that applicants after February 15th, there are departments that will be full and there are limited scholarship funds. So we really are pushing students at least by February 15th to get applications into us so that you have your best possibility of getting a spot and getting some scholarship aid.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. In our last minute, is there anything that you have not yet had a chance to share that you think is really important for high school students to know? And I will let any of you start that feel something pops into your head.
You know what? I'm going to put something in the chat again. I think oftentimes, especially when you're in a very college prep centered school district, sometimes going to art school isn't met with celebration and excitement. It's more met with, why would you go to art school? That's not a very good idea. You'll be poor and starving your whole life. And I put a link in for the Strategic National Arts Alumni Project, which Dean and I are big fans of. And if one of us doesn't bring it up, the other one will. This is a survey that started about 20 years ago out of Indiana University. It's got great research and data about the value of studying the arts at the undergraduate level, job placement, lifetime earnings, all kinds of data. And so especially if there's somebody in your family that really needs the data in front of them to prove to them that this is viable, I would highly recommend checking out the SNAP Arts. There's also another group, ACAD, which is the Association of Independent Colleges of Art and Design. And that's another great resource, especially if you're looking at visual art programs specifically. And summer intensives. I highly recommend those too.
Okay. Angie, do you have anything to add before we sign off?
So, can you hear me? Okay, so yes, we have summer youth programs for high school students that are taught by the same collegiate faculty that teach our college and graduate programs. Those are a great way to kind of just try us out for a few weeks to see if it's something that you really want to pursue with us long term. You might discover something about yourself that you didn't know. You might discover that you really want to pursue directing as opposed to screenwriting, but there's a great way for you to network and to get to meet people and to put in some work. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, we're going to wrap up the first session and have a little break before session 2, but I really want to thank our panelists for their time, for their expertise, for all the things that they shared, and for inspiring our students. Because you're right, sometimes our creative side needs to be cheered on, needs a little bit of encouragement, and needs to really be celebrated. And I think we did that tonight. So thank you all very much.